And she took of its fruit and ate, and she also gave to her husband with her, and he ate it. Now let's understand what happened here. Did an outside source take her over? Possess her? No. Did it encourage her in a direction that was internally in her? In other words, the lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, the pride of life, he played on those things. He knew she had that in her and said to her, well, did he really say that you can't do this? Got her to question. He didn't tell her, don't listen to Yahweh, he lied to you. He said, well, is it true that Elohim told you this? And she's like, well, no, he didn't really say that. He said that we could eat of the trees, but not this one. All right? And so he said, well, that's not true. You won't die. He says, you certainly shall not die. Because he says, but Elohim was just saying that to you because he wanted to keep something from you. You know what? I've got people on a very regular basis saying to me, well, but he knows my situation, and he wouldn't want me to suffer in this way. He wouldn't want me not to have this pleasure. He wouldn't want me to miss my child's graduation or a baby shower or whatever it is. He wouldn't want me to, really? That's exactly what she's saying, isn't it? Or he's saying to her, well, he knows if you do it, it's only going to make you like him, and he's afraid you'll be like him. Oh, but see, this had to be in her. And we know it was because look at what happens in the next verse. She looks and goes, the tree looks like it's good food and desirable and can make one wise. And, if this wasn't in her, it would never have worked. He exposed something that was already there. He did not put it there. If it wasn't there, she would have said, what are you talking about? Yahweh said, don't do it. I'm not doing it. There was never been a thought, well, but it looks good and it'll make me wise and all this other stuff. It had to be in there. And so my whole point when he says he's led the whole world astray, he's led them in the direction they want to go. But he's led them astray in convincing them that the way you want to go is right. That's the leading astray. To get you to question that Yahweh meant what he said. Well, did he really say that? Or did he maybe mean something a little different? Oh, he really couldn't have meant that because he knows it's good for you, going to make you wise and all this other stuff. You'll know good from evil and all that kind of thing. But by the way, the word knowing there, I've made a case, an argument about it being that you will have a relationship with both good and evil. They already knew good from evil. Yahweh said, don't do this, that's evil, and do this, that's good. It's simple as that. But he's saying, look, he knows that you'll be like Elohim. He says you're going to know and have a relationship with both good and evil. And now he's trying to tell you that Elohim has a relationship with evil. He's trying to convince you that that's even part of the deal. And so the enemy does this promoting and marketing to your head in areas that you already have a predisposed weakness. So let's just understand that when we deal with Hasatan, because people say, oh, well, the devil made me do it. The devil doesn't make you do anything. The devil encourages you to do something that you already have a predisposed desire to do. And I've said this over and over again. If you never had any problem with, and you can fill in the blank, he'll never tempt you in that area. Because when he tried, you just were like, I'm not interested. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay? So it doesn't work. Maybe you have a reason for an experience. I know people used to come up to me and think that somehow it would be tempting to put lobster and all this other stuff in front of me. And I'm like, I never liked it. It's not something that would tempt me. It's not something I've ever been interested in. I've never had a thought to say, man, I'd love to have a big lobster. Okay? And it's not because it's not kosher. It's because that's just nothing in me to tempt me, period. But there's other areas of my life, like there is in your life, where you are absolutely predisposed to not taking all that much to push you over the edge to tempt you. And there's certainly areas in your life where there's zero temptation whatsoever. The enemy's there to help bring all that out. And when you get to that point, we read in 1 John, where there's nothing to tempt anymore because you now have no more predisposed weaknesses, guess what? Now you don't sin. Why do you sin? Because you still want to. Not that you want to sin, but you still want to do whatever the sin thing was. you still have something in you that likes doing it. I know that sounds perverse and bizarre, but it's true. If you didn't want to, you wouldn't do it. Can we agree? I mean, it's really simple. There's a million things you don't want to do, and no matter what I say, you're not going to do them. But there's a few things in your life that you know you shouldn't do, but yet you do them because there's still something inside that likes doing it or likes the result of it or something. Or even if it's not that you like doing it, you like the fact that when you do it, it reminds you that you're still not under anybody's authority. Sometimes you do that just to have a little bit of a something that shows, I'm just going to do this little something just to remind me that I'm not under anybody's authority. Sometimes you do that just out of rebellion. And we know people like that. They do things, and it's not even that they're really interested in doing it, but they just have to show you that you're not in charge. So they do it just to make a point. Right? So sometimes it's not that you love the thing or that you still desire it, but you're still trying to make a point. A point that puts you in sin. Instead of making the point, because you make the point, Abba, I'm still not submissive. I'm truly not ready to be under authority. Because you know, you've seen this in your children, and sometimes they do something just to make sure you know that they're not listening, that they're self-sovereign.